This is One on One.
Is Rush Limbaugh right that we should treat slavery like infidelity in marriage? Just don't bring it up in every fight.
I've never been madder at you in my life. Not only for, let's pull back the curtain, okay? There was a time in America where all the panelists were white men. Now we've got 3 black folks in one studio. Let's just pull back the curtain. I'm right around the corner. Okay?
Yeah.
I blame Torre for this, though, not you, Joy.
Yeah.
I'm mad at you that you would ever ask
the
me.
wide shot shows the full extent of our segregation.
Yeah, can we make America great again when I could just join you in the studio?
That's good stuff. We have him right here. That's Pete Dominick over there with our good friend.
Joanne Reed.
That was Joy. By the way, Joanne's going to be joining us a little bit later on. But this is Pete Dominick, comedian, Sirius XM host. Stand up with Pete Dominick every day. When?
9 to noon every day on Sirius XM. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me. I wore a full suit.
Full suit.
I even tried to shave. Not really, but I made an attempt.
By the way, you look great. 121 channel. It's
Channel
121
on Sirius XM Insight. Yeah.
When did you know you had this incredible ability to bring politics and comedy together and make it all work for you, but more importantly, your audience?
I don't know that I still don't know that I do, but I worked at the Colbert Report and the Daily Show for years, and I watched what they did, and I said, I want to try to do that on the radio. I was already working in radio on the comedy channels at Sirius XM, and I said, I want to create a show, a program that's self-deprecating, but it brings on experts that didn't exist so much, like public radio with a personality, with an edge, with a sense of humor. And so far, so good. It's really going well.
I'm sorry, back up for a second.
Yeah.
As part of the PBS public broadcasting world, what did you just say about
I said,
NPR?
there is
personality?
There is this, not you, of course, Steve, but there are some in public radio and television where it's very serious, and I like that. I buy it. I love it. I love NPR. I love PBS.
Right, go ahead.
But what I'm selling is something a little bit different, and it's hard to be a liberal in news and politics and really cut through. But the only ones who have really done it, in my mind, are Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert, John Oliver now, Bill Maher to some extent. So it's like in that image, on the radio for 3 hours every day, and I think it's going pretty well. It's pretty exciting.
Let me ask you this, Pete. Do you have enough to talk about these days? I mean, as we do this at the end of 2016, the recent election just happened. Everyone just followed it. How interesting or funny is Donald Trump?
He's entertaining. He's very entertaining. When asked to give him a compliment, that's what I'd say. That's about all I can say.
Entertaining.
He's a very entertaining guy. He understands that it's important to be interesting, for people to care about what you have to say, to listen to you. There are a lot of really brilliant people. They come on the show, they're politicians, they're leaders. They're not that interesting to listen to. They might be great in print. They're not. Donald Trump was great on The Apprentice, and he's great at a rally. He's great at an interview. He doesn't know anything. He's not. He's certainly not curious. A lot of people say he's curious. He listens to people. I don't buy it at all. But he knows how to keep an audience, not unlike a stand-up comedian like myself. Like, he knows how to move along when it's getting boring. He knows how to tell a story. He's good at that. That's not what we should look for in a leader or even a mayor, because you have to understand. That's a good quality to have to some extent, but you also have to understand public policy. You have to understand trying to bring folks together. You have to actually be curious. That's a really important quality for someone that I think, in my opinion, the people who are the most intellectual are also the most curious. People who raise their hand in class. That kid, that's who's the smartest person in the room. Donald Trump seems to think he knows more than everybody, and I firmly believe that he actually believes that, but he doesn't have most of the qualities that anybody that work in public service should have, in my humble opinion.
Sorry for being so public television oriented for you people. Daniel Goldman calls it emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Being so thoughtful and introspective. You don't see that in our, well, right now, President-elect, soon to be the president. When you see this will be the president, that ability to be introspective, look at yourself and say, hey, what could I have done better, differently? Let me take a close look at myself. You don't see that in Donald Trump.
I love that you bring up his work. I'm a big fan. Emotional intelligence.
Yes.
You're being sarcastic with me, Steve.
I'm not.
You are, because you don't think that Donald Trump has emotional intelligence, and I don't either.
I only ask the questions. I don't express an opinion on public broadcasting.
I'm insinuating.
Yes.
He does not know. Emotional quotient for Donald Trump, the idea that he somehow cares about anyone, I don't see it. I don't think we've ever seen anybody with this type of psychology in this type of leadership role, not in the United States of America.
Devil's advocate.
Go ahead.
He was smart enough, intelligent enough to pick up something that many of us in the media didn't, that 16 other candidates on the Republican side didn't see. He connected. That's intelligent.
That's the conventional wisdom of this election that I don't buy. Absolutely, people are angry, but folks are confused about the catalysts for their anger. People are so upset about, for example, trade. Their job went overseas. No, it didn't. Most of your jobs did not leave this country. Most of them, certainly in some sectors, they went to robots. But people don't know that. People don't know that automation is the reason why certain manufacturing is. They don't know that. They don't pay attention to these things day to day. They don't have the time to. They don't have sometimes the resources. They don't know where to go. So people were angry, and Donald Trump tapped into that. But it wasn't for the right reasons. He doesn't have the right solutions. He's appointing people that are only going to make their anger worse. These coal jobs are never coming back. They're never coming back.
You can't tell those people in West Virginia
yes,
that.
You
Look what happened when Hillary Clinton did that.
Because absolutely.
That's not mean-spirited, Pete.
No, it's not. It's about technology. It used to take a lot of men to go into a coal mine. Then they created technology where you could just take the mountain off, the top of the mountain off, to get to the coal easier. You don't need men to do that job, as many men to do that job. It is automation. It is technology. And that's just one aspect of the coal industry. The free market actually really did more with natural gas. These are thoughtful conversations. This is what we do on my show. We bring on experts to explain these things to us. So yeah, people are angry, but in my opinion, they're angry for many of the wrong reasons.
Wow.
It's a very smug, kind of liberal, arrogant attitude, I think, to even say that. But I listen so carefully to so many of these people who really know what they're talking about, who are professors, who are academics, who are scholars, who have studied these issues for a long time. And, you know, someone like Donald Trump doesn't listen to those people. I don't know who he listens to other than the mirror.
But here's the thing about it. You also have this incredible wit. I'm not saying this to kiss up to you, but the fact is you are funny. You have this quick wit. How can you just do what you just did? And I'm not going to call it a rant because it wasn't. It was clearly focused and cogent.
Yeah, I was reading off cue cards.
I could clearly tell that.
Yeah,
and then turn around and combine the humor in that with such serious stakes for so many. That is the art form that I'm trying to figure out.
It is a difficult challenge, especially with such serious issues. But when you come up as a stand-up comedian, you understand the rules of the game, and the rules are as long as it's funny, it doesn't matter how serious of an issue, how awful of a story that you're telling, if you can find the funny in that. And for sure, we don't do that at every minute of my program or even always every hour, but we try to find levity, we try to do highs and lows and draw people in to fight the apathy that exists in so many communities and so much of this country, to try to bring people in, to try to entertain them while informing them. I wish that didn't have to be that way. I wish everybody read at least the A1 section of major newspapers in the country, but they don't. They watch TV, they listen to the radio, and so we're trying to bring that to them.
You mind if I show this clip, you and Minnie Driver?
Please show this clip with Minnie Driver and I, Steve.
Does it need a setup?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. This was a great moment for the show and I think very helpful.
Then that's a good enough setup for me. Let's go to the clip.
Would you admit to that having ever been assaulted or groped?
100%, and every girl that I know.
You have been?
Absolutely, 100%.
Would you tell us, kind of, without being...
The times that you would sanction it because you would believe when you're young, when you're 17, 18, you're going out, the idea that unwanted male attention is something that you are supposed to put up with because it is somehow your role.
Yeah. I mean, almost every woman and girl you talk to, anecdotally, especially every woman, has either been assaulted or harassed or certainly knows someone who have it. And this is a really, really important issue to me. I have two little girls. They're 11 and 9.
Well.
They're my daughters. I don't just have two little girls. That would have been horrifically scary. But and so I advocate for them. I think about their lives and what they're going through. And I've changed as a man from being a guy who objectified women as a kind of a vessel to be conquered to advocating for them and to understanding what it's like to live in their skin every day, as well as people of color, other categories of humanity that I don't necessarily belong to as a straight white man. I try to advocate for them. I firmly believe that the standard you walk past is the standard you accept. If you see someone being treated a certain way, you've got to try to say something. Of course, you choose your battles, but I have heard so many stories, horror stories from women and girls and adolescents about their treatment. And it is an epidemic on campus and in the military, sexual harassment and rape and so on. And it's an issue that needs to be discussed, and to have a celebrity as big as Minnie Driver to be honest on the air with you about how she had been sexually assaulted, I think that does a good service. And more celebrities, I'm on the side of more celebrities speaking out about their own life challenges and personal experiences. I thought that was great.
Before I let you out here, when I look at a clip like that, and I see you right here and know of your work, how much do you love what you do every day?
I get to meet all of my idols, from comedians to journalists to academics. The opportunity that I get to ask them questions. My dad told me when I was 14, he said, just find a job you enjoy. I said, can you do comedy for a living? He said, yeah, you can try. I started with that. I got into radio. I get to interview people like you and like you do, and it's an honor and a privilege, and I work real hard at keeping this gig as long as I can on Sirius XM.
I'm listening to you thinking, I wanted to say the same thing about sitting right here.
Yeah, it's a great job. Getting to ask smart, interesting people questions, a pretty cool gig.
I would look at it the other way around, because when our executive producer, Jen Eichlin, who booked you for another network.
Yeah, Jen's great,
told me she had you. I thought, wow, what a great opportunity. So the opportunity to listen to you, and more importantly, be able to bring you to our audience is a great thrill for me professionally. And so I want to thank you.
It's also great to see that you have a lot of great, strong, smart, intelligent women working on your show.
Well, how do you think this happens? Because they set me up all
Clearly,
the time.
there's a reason. Someone did that to your face.
Can I plug again?
Please, plug.
Sirius XM Insight Channel 121, 9
Every
to
day,
12.
9 to noon Eastern. Please listen, everybody. Please. Thank you very much for having me, Steve. It was a real honor and pleasure.
The other way around.
All right, man.
Check you out next time.
I'll wear a tie next time. Sorry.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Holy Name Medical Center in Teaneck, New Jersey. Healing begins here. Berkeley College, TD Bank, Rowan University, New Jersey Resources, Fedway Associates, and by Gary's Wine and Marketplace. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.